But I completely forgot I was just recording. I'm recording a video. Hello and welcome to another Rocket League video. Now today we are going to be taking a look at one of the best players in the world. His debut in RCS was just this weekend gone, and he actually won his first RCS event he's ever played in. The second player to do that, second to Seiko, and that is Zen. Now, I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing all about this player or seeing everything about him. Although I'm sure if you keep watching his gameplay, you're not really that sick of it. It is quite good, and that's why we're watching it today. And if you're not familiar with who Zen is, I don't know where you've been for the past like 2-3 months, but he is a hyper mechanical player who destroyed the one scene and made a massive name originally for himself in twos. That was before he entered ones. A lot of people are going to say he made a name for himself in ones, but I'd say it was twos he came from for years. We all knew this guy was going to be good. We've been saying it for ages, but in the last 3 months, it really became apparent how good it was going to be. And it was decent. They won their first ever event. I did not think they would win. Vitality won, spoilers, of course. But yeah, I didn't think they'd win. I thought they would get third, maybe fourth. I thought that KC would win and Liquid are going to be second. And I got one of the predictions right. Liquid were second, but obviously Vitality won, and congrats to them. A very, very good performance. EU is looking absolutely incredible, guys. Probably the best, well, I'd say definitely the best we've seen so far. We'll see if it carries on in Regional Turn 3. I'm sure it will. But yeah, it's looking scary. They're looking very, very good. So, yeah, and Vitality, I won't call them the best EU team yet. They obviously won the regional, and that's going to, turn a lot of heads. I think KC deserve their credit, but with a new addition to this guy who's on the ball and takes the pass to with the dunk on the last guy, they're pretty good. But that being said, I want to talk about, more individually about Zen. Now, like I said before, hyper mechanical, hyper aggressive player, and one's just scoring any goal you could imagine in your head. He makes it happen on the pitch, right? And when everyone was talking about, how he would play in Vitality, maybe I'm blind, but I'm pretty sure most people were saying that he would be, the first man. He'd be just full ball chase, full speed, hyper, mechanical, hyper aggressive, and just really full going, right? And I think I thought that too. I think a part of me thought he might relax a little bit. But that is kind of what's happened. He's actually a defensive player, which is, I don't think it was on most people's minds. That's what I will say. But I love the role. I absolutely love it. I think that's the perfect style for his, type of player. These hugely mechanical players, I think they should be defensive players because they make the least errors. Simple as that. Least mechanical errors. And there's a player that Zen reminds me of, actually, and I don't know how many times I've seen this comparison. I'm not sure if I've seen it at all, maybe once or twice, but I'm not sure if anyone else is thinking it. He looks almost exactly like how Vatira plays in his old team, in Moist. Vatira on Carmine is a little bit more aggressive, but Vatira on Moist was quite defensive, and that is kind of what we've seen here. They're both of them are players that virtually make zero mechanical errors. You'll see in these two games, which are completely random games I've chosen, by the way. They're not from the grand final. I think they're from the upper final against Liquid. They're just the last two games. I didn't look through them before we were going through this. I looked through them once, but I haven't selected them out of other replays. I just grabbed these two replays, had a look, and said, yeah, these are just two random replays. You'll see Zen make pretty much zero mechanical, genuine errors. He might make, slight inconsistencies like every player, but he won't make glaring errors like 99% of pros. Even at the top, even your favorite player, some of the best players, we all make mistakes. Zen really doesn't in terms of mechanics. And that is what sets him apart. He has a completely defensive stance. You'll see him turn back to net way more than most pros. But he is also aggressive in his challenges, which is exactly what Vatira does. It's the exact same thing. You'll see that Zen's recoveries are extremely quick, and he's not afraid to flip around the pitch, which is a strange thing because I've always told players don't don't flip around the pitch. It's actually bad. And I stand by that. But in my opinion, Viterra is the best player in the world still. I think he's still the best player in the world. Zen's definitely, you know, up there, but Viterra's done it too many times right now. We'll see if, you know, how long Zen can be on top 4. I don't doubt. Please don't. I know that Zen has a lot of fans, and me saying that will make people think that I'm, you know, dissing him. It's just how good Viterra is. I still have him number 1. I think you'd be insane not to. But these players, they flip around the pitch a ton, and they actually control it perfectly. They keep their momentum perfectly, and that's what you'll see Zen do, along with fantastic saves like that. Just quick recoveries. You know, again, it's little stuff like this, and you guys might think this is just such small things, right? But most of your players would just simply carry on with their momentum and drive down the wall, because that's the most sensible thing to do. You're carrying on with your momentum. You're not cutting your momentum off and trying to drive backwards into your net. It's just the most sensible thing to do. But Zen is very defensively kind of minded, that his first instinct isn't to get boosted, isn't to start pushing out to fix the rotation, to get behind his teammate. It is to simply cover net. And in case that shot gets past Radisson from Oski, he is there to cover the top left of the goal. Not a lot of players, I'm genuinely correct in saying this, not a lot of players have the foresight to do that. You can't just, it's like, you have to do that in the moment, and not a lot of players do that. And again, it's such a small thing, but he's completely defensively oriented, which I'm quite surprised about. I didn't expect that. You know, I thought he'd be very aggressive. I just want to say a huge thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Guys, if you're looking for the most in-depth vehicle combat game you can find out there, then this game's for you. You guys can play over 2,000 different vehicles, including planes, ships, and tanks in dynamic PvP battle. And each vehicle is hugely detailed, right down to even the most minuscule elements, making the game incredibly immersive and realistic. One of the best parts about the game is that it's completely free on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Easily my favorite part of the game is that the collection of vehicles span over the last 100 years, so you can actually feel like you're fighting in any part of recent history. And the amazing graphics and 4K resolution actually make it feel real. You get authentic sound effects and incredibly hype music, which really allow you to get into the game. I personally love just going through all the different vehicles and seeing how similar they are to real life. Download War Thunder today, guys. It's completely free, and you'd seriously be missing out if you didn't. If you use my link, then you get huge bonuses, including insane premium vehicles, account boosters, and much more. Link is in the description. I didn't expect that. You know, I thought you'd be very aggressive, but this game is strange. I'm going to put up a stat on screen right now. The first one on the left you'll see is from the first game. And that is the amount of time each player on the pitch spends on zero boost. The one on the right is from this game. And it's very strange because you'll see that Zen has an absurdly low amount of time on zero boost in the first game, and an even more absurdly high amount of time on zero boost in the second game, which is very strange. It's two drastic things, and we'll see why that is. And I'm intrigued. Like I said, I took a short look. Like I said before, these players make zero mechanical errors. It's little stuff like this that kind of catches my eye. He is, if you look on every single 50-50, he is directly through the center of the ball, just like Viterra. They are so good at it, and they just carry on the momentum, and he gets a demo on the player who's about to go on the ball. It's little stuff like that in the midfield that just makes that, huge difference to me. But yeah, we'll see, what is going on with the boost amount this game. Like I said, he spends an incredibly high amount of time on zero boost, which isn't good. It's definitely not good. But I want to see if it catches him out. Well, I know it doesn't catch him out. I've watched this game, and I want to look more closely why. It means that he's getting on zero boost in situations like that there, where it doesn't actually matter. It's not his turn, it's not his play to make. He doesn't have to be there. He doesn't have to make a play, so it's okay for him to be on zero boost. Which you can kind of read in between the lines with stats. And that shows that he picks and chooses his times to go and to actually use his boost almost perfectly. If he is on a high amount of time on zero boost, but doesn't get punished for it, you know, you could say that the opponent's bad at punishing for it, but he's playing Liquid, one of the best teams at punishing mistakes and being aggressive when they need to be. I don't think it's his opponents. It must be a testament to how good he is at choosing and deciding when he needs to go for the ball or not. And you know, these mechanical players, again, it's the same thing every time. These these zero boost plays, it's not actually in crucial moments. It's in moments where he's just getting out of offense and collecting boost. So it's just a stat that it looks like a bad thing. But you know, for most players, it would be a bad thing. But I guess for him, it really doesn't matter. He carries his momentum so well that he doesn't actually, you know, get caught out on zero boost much. And please, I want you guys to find many. Look at this. You know, few players in the world can do it. You know, AJ is definitely one of those. He's incredible at wall dashes himself, but few players in the world can do it. Just goes from almost zero momentum to supersonic on zero boost with chain dashes on the wall. You know, it's incredible how well he keeps his momentum right now. And you'll see he's just filtering into the second man position a lot. And yeah, it's not that incredibly different to most, you know, defensively oriented players who control the midfield mainly. But the difference is touches like this. Controlling this ball is extremely hard. And now you might go, oh, Jack, I'm champ and I can do this. You can't. That is very hard to do. How he does that almost every time is pretty beyond me. You know, like I said, it's very Vatira-esque. I think we'll see this guy at the top for a while. And I wonder what it's like playing him in threes. I don't like. He's one of these players where I don't think like playing against Vatira, right? I've never actually. I have played. I just dropped my phone. I have played Vatira in tournaments, but not when he's you know, been absolutely at his peak in the past year. I played him only a couple of times when he first started getting really, really good in winter. But I've obviously played him in scrims, and you play him, and you can tell that he's probably the best, right? But it's not like incredibly scary, right? Whereas some players are scarier, like first skill. I find it scarier to play first, but you can tell that Vatira is better. That's kind of what I have always thought, right? Zem kind of reminds me of that. It's not like you'd be incredibly scared because he's not going like a million miles an hour. He's not just beating you to every ball. It's just annoying. It's like when you used to play Monkey Moon back in RSS X. It's just annoying because he just makes zero errors, like genuinely zero errors. And it's not scary to play that. It's just very like, ugh. That's the only way I can describe it. He turns on 20 boost. Most players in the world won't go up for this with 20 boost. Is it the correct play? You know, these players, even with how good they are, they can make mistakes. But I think it's the correct play. 20 boost, he's not concerned about getting a touch on the ball. He knows Radisson's backboard, and he just simply forces it for the structure of the team. It's completely selfless. It's in his team's best interest. It's also in his, you know, in his own best best interests. Yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. Can't figure that one out, but yeah, he's quite good at you know, identifying when he needs to play for the team and when he needs to play for himself. Every time he touches the ball, it's a threat. Now that doesn't look like a threat completely because it's like, he didn't actually put too much on target. But Atao has to make a touch, you know, else he is going to control that. A lot of players would just mess up the first touch, and Atao would have a lot of, you know, space and control with the ball. It's not the same with this guy, man. It's not the same at all. He's not concerned about going solo. He's just completely offloading the ball to his teammates. And when he does go solo, it's simply because he finally has the space to do so, or he's buying time for his teammates to get back into the rotation. Again, it's just a perfect, you know, kind of momentum shift from going forward and then transition to going backwards just to get the block. It's all his momentum, you know, how he keeps his momentum is so good. Again, he's not concerned particularly about getting a piece of this ball. It's just about getting a piece of the player and making sure he doesn't carry on with the ball. And most players in the world do this. I'd say every pro player would do this. It's just that some might miss it sometimes where he doesn't. Again, I don't know what happened with his team. I think that Radisson was very slow to that. I think he got confused where the ball was going to go. When balls like that are floating in the air and it's going very slow, it is awkward, so I don't blame him. Small mistake from Zen here. He creeps up into the front post. But he can make these small errors, but his mechanics just... Yeah. Yeah, he makes it look smooth, he makes it look clean. He doesn't really have to air roll, just goes straight back into it. And yeah, he's just completely fluid with that. Sometimes people don't recognize how good these players are because it doesn't look flashy. And I know what you're saying. That sounds crazy. That does look flashy. But what I mean is it's not air rolly. It's just for that save, he just drove straight back. It's the fact that he has the confidence to know that he's perfectly in line to drive off his post and not lose his car control there. It's the same with that touch. I mean, just look at this play. Dunks guy, last guy dead. Oh, sorry, bumped, and it's an open that to send them to the grand finals. I mean, it's just an incredible 40 seconds, really. He gets the save here whilst backwards. Where is it? Gets the save backwards here to save, himself from an error. Creeping up into the front post, a little bit of a poor 50 from Alpha, saves himself mainly, and the ball drops to 0, and straight off kickoff. Not the best first touch. That's definitely mechanical, inconsistency there, mechanical error, but probably, one of maybe 5 we could find in the last 2 games, if that. But then straight here, just perfect double tap over the first guy, makes it awkward for the second. Notice that how he drives to the ceiling. Atao can't really hard clear because there's a chance that Zen just completely dunks from the ceiling and it could just go in from there because it could be a free shot since the Chronic would be out of net. That is going through Atao's mind, I promise. If he does clear this, Zen might have that. So he has to take time and he just perfectly controls it. Perfect 50 through the center of the ball. Bumps the last guy because he knows that he doesn't need to be on the ball anymore. His teammate's coming in. If he just gets a piece of the last guy, it's a goal. And it is. And he sends his team to the grand finals, or Radisson sends his team to the grand finals off for a really good play from Zen. And they win the tournament in the next series against Liquid again. And yeah, these were just 2 random replays, guys. Like, genuinely. They might have been the 2 best replays from, his perspective all tournament. I don't know. I'd be more inclined to say no, because there's been, there's a larger amount of games that we haven't seen him play in this video. But maybe they are. Yeah, I think that, like, what sets him apart is how he controls his momentum, I think, mainly. That's really what sets him apart. And I've always thought the same with Vatira. You don't really see them struggling to control their car or struggling to gain speed. You don't see them do that. You see every other player in the world, sorry, not every other player, but like 99% of pros, maybe like, I put first killer in with them and that's about it, really. Sometimes you see breaks in speed where they struggle to figure out how to keep their car going. He doesn't. Zen doesn't, or not what we've seen. And it really allows the flow of his team to carry on and the structure to maintain. And I think that's what we're going to see from Vitality more. We're not going to see like a massively like hyper mechanical team. Of course we are, but it's not going to be like Liquid. That's not what we're going to see. I think the structure is going to improve and has improved from Zen joining. And I think it's going to give his teammates, especially Alpha, a lot more time on the ball and a lot more, security. They're going to have more freedom. They're going to be more secure about how good Zen is on the ball and off the ball. They know he's not going to make many mistakes, so they can sometimes leave him in a couple of awkward positions. And they're going to get away with that, and that's fine. And having that, security net is incredible for a team. So Zen, he's come in, he's won his first regional, and he's done it pretty convincingly, I'd say. They didn't drop a series or tournament, and they completely deserved the win. They beat 2 of the top teams in Europe, and I'm sure they're going to beat many more in the future. So thank you guys for watching the video. Be sure to download War Thunder in the description, the most in-depth vehicle combat game out there. Link is in the description for free bonuses and other hugely beneficial premiums. I'll see you guys next time. We'll see how this guy does. We'll see how Vitality do. I'd put them at second in Europe. right now behind KC. You got to give KC that credit. But Vitality could absolutely shoot into #1 if they get another win. So we'll see how they do. But guys, please let me know what you think of this player. Is he different? I hope you say yeah. I think it's pretty obvious. Is he going to be the best? Is he already the best? I want to know what you think. But other than that, I'll see you guys later. Take care.